Hold on him, extort shit, bully the flow on him.
Alright, I'm the same.
Julian Fernando Casablancas, the Virgo king of cyberspace and of Instagram bios, my personal favorite when it comes to music stars. The man has been killing it for over the last 20 years, as if not for his own musical catalog, his many incredible features, a Grammy win, this man cannot be stopped. But yeah, frontman of the well-known Strokes as well as the lesser-known Voids, but for those who are out of the loop, the Strokes are credited for saving rock and roll with their debut EP as it shook up the industry in the early 2000s, and the rest is history. But the Voids? The Voids are where Julian gets to show off his more creative side, as they sound like music from a dystopian future. They are music for the aware, and the band is definitely on something good because although I think some of their songs can be a little overwhelming on first listen, I find them overly enjoyable. You'd never think an album that goes from fun indie vibes to what a mess we made of our humanity could work so well. It's the perfect kind of crazy, and I really hope to see them live one day. Now, this year has been great for music, and after such a long hiatus, we're finally getting a new album. Sure, we've had singles come out every couple of months, but a new album? There have been so many great albums this year already, and also a lot of really disappointing cringe ones. Okay, maybe I actually didn't listen to this one, but you couldn't pay me to do that because it's just not good. Honestly, I shouldn't judge it if I haven't listened to it because there probably is a song on there that I wouldn't mind, but after... Yeah, I'm good. But new Voids? What a time to be alive. It's been a minute since they last released one, 6 years to be exact, and that one, or should I say Virtue, is one of my favorite albums ever, as not only the lyricism is mystical, political, and dreamy, it's also extremely different and extremely catchy. No song sounds the same, and they all take those electrical receptors in your ears on the wildest of rides. To say that I am excited is an understatement, as this is my most anticipated album of the year. So Like All Before You is finally here, and yeah, I really think they should have called this an EP, because sure it's 10 songs, but it's actually 5 new songs and all of the singles that they've released for the last 2 years, like I mentioned prior. And most of the new songs are a mixed bag. Square Wave and 7 Horses stand out to me specifically. Square Wave straight up sounds like a Joy Division meets Russian Daft Punk, and 7 Horses reminds me of The Doors if Jim Morrison was any more of an android. And I swear it has the best line on the entire album. Everything's recorded, but nothing can be recalled. The old songs haven't stopped being great, but that's just the thing. I wish there was more new, and what is new is like unfinished ideas, and it's honestly a huge letdown because we waited 6 years for this album when it's more like a collection of unfinished demos and B-sides. It's nowhere near the quality compared to the previous albums, which again is why I think it should have been called an EP, but regardless, it was doomed from the moment I'm about to talk about. Now, I had recently replayed Assassin's Creed 4, and really quickly, that game is the ultimate pirate simulator. I love this game because this is where I think the series peaked, as in this rendition you get to play as a privateer turned pirate assassin. It's a pretty okay story, one of the better ones for a Ubisoft game, especially nowadays. And honestly, it's just a Banjo-Kazooie game with pirates. And what I mean by that is it's a collectathon with a pirate skin, and it's fun, but it's very repetitive upon replaying it. And 25% of the game is literally working at Ubisoft. Like, who thought that was a good idea to make that 25% of the game? Gee, let's work in an office. How fun. It's not like I play these games to escape that. It's your classic Assassin's Creed, but this time you're plundering booty and singing shanties with the boys all around the Caribbean. It's a game that's like no other, and to me, what Red Dead Redemption is to cowboys, this is the pirate equal. Now, even though I think this game is great, it is nowhere near the quality of Red Dead Redemption 2. That game is literally perfect. But for pirate games, this is peak. Now, there are a couple of honorable mentions, but what does this have to do with the slothcore cyberpunk Joe Dirt and his side project? Well, it's their song All the Same. That song is about the technological dystopia we live in and the superficiality and hidden corruption that goes on behind the scenes, and after the bridge, the lyrics go, "Pirates can keep their money stored. They just can't have the power no more." Which I interpret that meaning as good as the golden age was, they were destined to fail. Sure, they had money, but they had no influence. They actually established a capital, Nassau, and it was actually a sanctuary. And for a while, they were actually pretty successful. But how could those that live outside the law govern themselves? Well, that is also what led to their downfall, as whether through terrible leadership or just that eventually the bounties that were placed on all of them were just too good to resist. That type of free life no longer exists. We are all bound by rules, and as pirates are far and few, as well as extremely different and illegal in this day and age. And it's tragic, as most turned to the life because they were poor or couldn't find decent work, and when they were employed, they were treated horribly by their bosses, so they'd leave looking for better employment for themselves, or they'd simply just join someone hell-bent on revenge. Although I do sympathize with pirates, when they weren't being floofy drunk Frenchmen, they did do some pretty bad things, like extremely violent things, aside from a severe lack of hygiene, which is a crime to all of us. But more importantly, they stole from people, which brings me to the Voids. What makes them pirates? It's the album art these schmoes decided to go with. And it's a shame because I think that while at first I was in love with it, as I love the style because I do love what it's based off of, but what's got me timbers shivered, well, it's AI art. And if you're unaware, the way AI creates art is a very complex process. It's machine learning, and that's basically teaching a program word association, which can eventually turn into prompts to certain styles, and that can go from something as simple as vector art. But what if there's a certain style from a movie you saw, or someone's Instagram page that you're trying to replicate? It's gotta learn from somewhere. Now, I really don't care if you're taking from a giant company like Disney or Nintendo. We're all low-key pirates. Which might be hypocritical, but the problem comes from when these machines are taught an artist's style without the consent of the artist, especially those that are on a much smaller scale. Because the program isn't just coming up with whatever amalgamation it comes up with, it's just a weird blend of someone else's hard work. And when it does look good, it's not because of the machine, it's because of what it's based off of, and I guarantee you it was not permitted to be used in that way. Again, it's different if you want to take it from a giant corporation. Hypocritical, sure, maybe, but 99% of the time it's art from the little guy, and right now there are no copyright laws or changes in place to protect these artists to be able to opt their art out. And I'm not completely against AI art, as I think there can be some great ways of using it for concepts, as well as if permissions are granted by the artist through some sort of license where everyone is happy, but right now we are not at that point. And it's really ironic that a band that talks so much about man falling to machine, the end of times, how we are losing our humanity, the fact that they would even consider using something like this is just embarrassing. Julian ended up responding in only a way that he could, and it's honestly not helped the controversy. Because this is lame, like, what does this even mean? And now that the album is out and it's not meeting a lot of fan expectations, it's only added more controversy. But what do you guys think? As always, thanks for watching.
Gar, matey, where are you headed?
Peter, you are not a pirate.